Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live question and answer session. This week's session is all about the new social app called Clubhouse, and we have the founder of the Instructional Design Club on Clubhouse here with us today, Tameka Harris, who will hop up on here in just 1 second. But this is going to be great. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces here in the chat as well, people who we see on Clubhouse, on LinkedIn. So I'm very excited for today's session. Hi, Tameka.
Hi, Devlin. Hi, everyone in the room. Welcome. Just happy to have this conversation.
Yeah, it was a cool experience for me, like when we hopped on video here, because I've been hearing your voice like for the last like months on Clubhouse, like so often, and now I see you and it's like you have a face. I mean,
I
like obviously,
do.
but
I
yeah,
have a face.
yeah, nice. But I imagine that many of the people here may not know very much about Clubhouse at all. So we're gonna let the people know everything they need to know about Clubhouse and the benefits of the app and how they can get involved. So maybe we should just start at square one and talk about what Clubhouse is.
Yeah, Clubhouse, and I'm no Clubhouse guru by any means. I'm a user. I'm a certified Clubhouse user, and I've fallen in love hopelessly with this app. But Clubhouse is an invitation only audio app for right now iPhone users. There is definite knowledge that that is going to change. So that's on the horizon. So you Android users will hopefully be able to join us in the Clubhouse app. But it's an audio only experience. And for the first time in a long time, I never knew that audio could go so far and could do so many things. So it's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. Like when I heard about the app, I some people that I followed, some larger creators, I saw that they were hosting events on Clubhouse. So I somehow I came across an invite. So I was like, okay, let me go on here and check this out. And then I saw the Instructional Design Club because of
Mhm.
course I like looked up instructional design or something to see what was going on. And I saw that you had started a club there. So I was like, okay, this is cool. And it probably had a couple of hundred members at the time. And now, like through your like pretty regular efforts, this club has grown to over 1,100 people in a relatively short time span. And I would just say, like from the very first room I was in, like you made such an impression. Like I loved how you made everyone feel so welcome, and I feel like you just made it like such a safe space for people to like be themselves and like not feel worried about like coming up on stage and sharing what they know. So I should have added that in a proper introduction, but I think everyone who comes into the Clubhouse space and like is in a room with you like really appreciates that, and I'm sure that has had a very big impact on like how quickly this platform has been growing. So we
I
really
think,
appreciate that.
oh, wow, thank you. And thank you to all of our folks in this room and in this space, and even those who are going to see this on replay. It's important. I think one thing that Clubhouse made very crystal clear to me, and I just joined January 2nd. I had an invitation since November, but I didn't know what it was about. But one thing that the app has made very crystal clear to me is that people can tell truth better through audio more than anything in the world. Um, touch, feel, as well as touch. I don't want to leave my hard of hearing folks out of the conversation, but while we're talking about this audio only app, I think the thing that was most crystal clear to me is that I can tell if you are bullshitting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I can tell if you are um true to who you are through sound.
Yeah.
And video, uh, I think, can distract us, right? We can get, if our eyes are involved, we can, come up with all kinds of things in our own heads. But audio, that's trickier, right? I can tell if you are about something through your sound, if your feet are on the floor, not literally, but like I could tell if you're grounded through sound. And
Yeah.
so um I'm grateful that my sound resonates with so many people and that their sound resonates with me. And so I'm just happy to play a part in any small way or any meaningful way for people all over the world. That is that's UPS.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Marcy, it was like, okay,
That's
I'm
what
done
my
speaking. Beep.
that's what
Yeah.
my doorbell sounds like. So,
Okay.
hey,
Did you need to go and get that?
I
Or?
just a hot second.
Okay, sure.
Hold right there.
No worries.
They are
But
being very gracious on the doorbell today.
okay,
Sorry
that
about
was
that.
that was
I'm
fast.
back.
No worries. But yeah, I completely agree. Like yourself is like very visible on this platform. Like there is no script. This isn't like some edited podcast or something. And you're
Yeah,
talking on the fly. Like you're showing yourself in these conversations. You're very like vulnerable and exposed. Like sometimes I'm just talking about things off the top of my head, things I'm not talking about with anyone that I'm just trying to like work through with people on Clubhouse. And I don't want to lose anyone also. So I did
yeah,
take some screenshots from this room we were just in before this live session, just to kind of show people who may not have been on the app a little bit more context of what it's like to be on the app. Maybe we should show those off really quick.
absolutely.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so I think we can all see this now. So this is just a screenshot of like what you see once you are in the app. You see here, we can see, you can join different clubs in Clubhouse. Okay, so it's kind of like joining like a LinkedIn group or something along those lines. And then with that club, you can host an event. So this is a recurring event, lunchtime with instructional designers. I know John Rock, and is he the main host for this? I know you co-moderate this sometimes.
Yeah, we co-moderate the
Okay,
space. Hmm.
cool. So yeah, so at the top here, you can see like the upcoming events you have for the day based on the clubs that you're in or probably the people that you follow. And then you can just see the list of actual rooms going on at that moment. You can see how many people are in there, how many speakers there are. And once you select that room, you're in this thing. Okay, so like you're in this thing live. You can see these people up here. These are people like on the stage. So you can see these, John and Mike are unmuted. Wendy and Rachel are muted.
Yep.
So you just unmute and then you're just adding to the conversation.
Yeah.
And then everyone here, you can see everyone who's like in the audience. So from the audience, you see this little raise your hand button. You press that button press that. And then it sends a message to the moderators that, Devlin would like to speak on the stage. So they invite you up. And then once you get on, you're like unmuted. You, in most cases, want to mute yourself until like, it makes sense for you to talk. But it's really cool because a lot of times like people host these rooms, people who have big followings, and the whole point of this app is to like interact with other people, like to bring people into the conversation. So I see some people with like millions of subscribers on YouTube and stuff, they're on here and they're just having conversations with people with absolutely no following and like helping them as a way, and they're doing it in a public space, so it's like also helping the rest of the community. So it's really cool from that perspective, very interactive. And you'll notice there's no option here to like this plus button. What that lets you add other people to the room, like people who you follow. I believe you can ping them in. There's no text chat feature here. There's no option to share your screen. There's no video. It is 100% audio only. So
It is.
yeah, and then
It
once
is.
you're on the stage, yeah, it's like you can just unmute and talk. So
So on the image that you had on the screen, I liken to every room, well, every space a room, right? When you go in a room, there's typically the door behind you and
yeah,
there's the stage in front of you, right? And
right,
so that's kind of the layout of the space on Clubhouse, and it really
true,
does feel like a room, right?
yeah,
As you scroll down, if you were in the app, it's almost like people who just kind of bounce in are near the door because they just kind of, and I like to lots of times I like to bring awareness to them, but I also learned that some people, just like to lurk and just be in a room without their name being called out. And that's cool. And so I respect that. If going back to your question earlier, Devlin, like what is Clubhouse? If I gave you the very textbook, it's an audio only app.
yeah,
But if you ask me, my opinion would be it's a community center. It's where people get therapy. It's un you know I,
yeah.
not by a doctor, maybe or may not, it's where people get to have conversation. It's a digital Starbucks. It's a lounge. It's a event space. It's all these things and more that you see people using it and stretching imagination with. I've seen plays done on
Wow.
Clubhouse. I've seen, um, doctors connect with the community. I've seen all types of things. There's some less savory, sensory type stuff on there too. But it is a community center. It literally is whatever you want it to be. And I enjoy that. It has given me such access and such exposure to all types of different people all over the world. It's like Periscope, but just audio.
Yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of questions about the Android version. I know if you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, and what do they still make like iPod touches? An iPod, you need an iOS device right now, and I know that is a roadblock. So
Mhm.
I am very sorry to everyone here who does not have that,
Yeah.
because at this current point in time, you need an iOS device to access Clubhouse, but they are definitely going to roll out an Android version. So if you are here, maybe it's a good way to see what's coming and how you can get involved. Hopefully in the very near future, but I know that they're worried about like overloading their servers and stuff. They're trying to like ramp it up more slowly. And of course, there are many more like Android users worldwide than there are iPhone users, like from a global perspective. So I think that was their rationale behind iOS only in the beginning. But it will come for Android, whether or not all of these conversations are happening on Clubhouse at that point, or LinkedIn has adopted this. And Tameka and I were just talking like with stories on Snapchat comes out with stories, and now it's on like every single platform. So we'll see. This is a relatively new tool. It is adoption has been very great so far, but if the tech landscape obviously changes very quickly.
I
But
think if we can think about it in learning development terms, Clubhouse put out a minimum viable product
yeah,
that was not finished. And like many of us in instructional design, at least I am, learning how to put out a minimum viable functional product that will continually evolve over time. And that is the beauty of, and the reality is people want to be on the journey with you. That's why I don't have a website yet. You're going to be on a journey with me as I build whatever it is I'm building, right? And so I appreciate that. And I think as learning designers and instructional designers in this room, we can also appreciate seeing a social media app being built on its way to becoming. So
yeah.
it's been dope.
Yeah, but I understand any frustration for people who can't get on right now. It's coming, and I see some people in the chat mentioning that they have iPads. You can definitely get on here with an iPad, even if you have an Android phone that you use on the daily. So we've helped people get on there with iPads successfully, so that is a viable option. But okay, so hopefully now everyone has a pretty good idea of what Clubhouse is, whether or not you have access to it right this second. There's an invite feature. Again, it is invite only, but there are many people on LinkedIn and Slack communities who can help you get on there. If you want to get on there, we will make sure you can get on there if you have
Yeah,
an
I have
iOS
five. I
device.
have 5 invites ready to go. So if you connect with me on LinkedIn, first 5 people, you got an
Cool,
invite.
cool deal. I have a handful as well, like 5, 6, 7, something like that, and many other people who we can reach out to get more. So good stuff there. So we've talked about Clubhouse. Now let's maybe talk about the Instructional Design Club specifically. And to give context, when you're on Clubhouse, you can create a club which people can join, and then you can set permissions around who can host rooms in that club. So Tameka did this very early on, where you had to like actually fill out an application
Mhm.
to do this. I think now, as of like last week, you can actually create new clubs in the app. But the
Yes.
Instructional Design Club is definitely like the largest and earliest community of instructional designers on there, like by far. As far as I know, I think right now that's where like all of the conversations are still happening. I know there are some new clubs popping up, but
Yeah.
let's talk
And
about the Instructional Design Club. That's like the sole reason I use Clubhouse for right now. I've explored some other rooms, but like yeah, I use it only for ID stuff. But there's obviously, yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I got on the app January 2nd.
Wow.
And so the growth you see has been super fast.
Yeah.
And when I got on there, I saw other clubs, but I didn't see anything remotely close. Well, I won't say remotely close, but I didn't see instructional design, like, laid
Yeah.
out. And so the way Clubhouse works is the more active you are in being on stages, opening rooms, that kind of thing, the more they will nod you forward in creating a club. At least that's what it was back in January.
Mm-hmm.
I do know there are some other sister clubs now, and you all know, y'all are in this space. Hello, hello, hello. And in fact, there are a lot of our own members starting their own learning and development clubs, and I want to shout them out as well. This is not about capitalizing on instructional design or, owning people as members to one club. I, in fact, am a part of a lot of different learning and development clubs that have since popped up. And so it's an honor, it's a privilege to be one of many who are out here promoting community on Clubhouse.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks. Yeah, and I like that. That's really good. I mean, as you all can see, you making everyone feel welcome. No shame in starting new clubs. If you see a need, if there's a gap you want to fill, or you just want to experiment with that club founder role, go for it.
Absolutely.
More the merrier.
Absolutely. Go for it. In fact, I encourage it.
Yeah.
Not everyone can connect with my voice. Not everyone can connect with the vibe I give out or what I'm trying to create as a community. And that's absolutely okay. So
Yeah.
start your clubs. Send me an invite. I want to know what you're doing. I want to be a part too. So yeah, the more the merrier.
Cool deal. Okay, so let's dive into these Instructional Design Club specific questions now.
Yes.
So the one that is at the top of the list here is a question from Bunny. Is the Instructional Design Club more for freelancers or those who work for organizations? Good question.
It's a very good question. In the Instructional Design Club that is built, of course, I'm the founder, but there are 7 other founding members. So if I could just shout them out real quick:
Yeah.
Danielle Benton, Mallory Steele, Monica Hines, Nyla Spooner, Christina Chapper, Zainab Hafiz, and Kara North. Um, um, we all experience instructional design in so many different ways. And so when it comes to the Instructional Design Club on Clubhouse, we embrace everyone's perspective on instructional design, learning development, learning experience design, creation, course curriculum, all of that. We are all about all of those different conversations. We are starting to really build moderators for different rooms. People have ideas, they want to step forward, but sometimes there's hesitation there. And so we want to try to support people wherever they are in the moderation space, because it is a skill and it is an art, and it's a muscle. And the more you do it, the better you become. So if there's anyone out there trying to like really get involved, or you have ideas, or you want to moderate a room or co-moderate a room, reach out to us.
Yeah. And to answer the question more specifically, like there is such a wide variety of like professionals on there. There are freelancers. There are people who are brand new to the field, or who are trying to break into the field and who ask questions about that transition process. There are freelancers. There are full-time employees who are like doing really amazing things at their organizations. There are people who feel stuck in their positions and ask for help. So yeah, like the variety is wonderful. There are some rooms in the club that are dedicated to freelancing. So anyone interested in freelancing will hop in there. And I feel like there are some rooms dedicated to like organizational problem solving. So, and then there are rooms
we get it all.
for teachers transitioning into instructional design. So
we get it all.
Yeah.
We do. And that's the beauty of it, because for once, now I get to hear what the pains and challenges that a teacher goes through trying to get into the field.
Hmm.
Now I get to hear the pains and trials that someone who's doing instructional design with the government, or
Yeah.
someone who's in corporate, I get to really get a better, well-rounded picture of who's in these spaces. And not only that, but we are worldwide. We're a worldwide club. So that 1,100 some people who are members, and then we have over 700 people in our lobby or waiting room trying to get in. We're talking about instructional design from Africa and France and Asia, and so it's like mind blowing how much of a perspective you can get in
Hmm.
this club.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Hanging out in these spaces has definitely given me a lot more perspective. Like, I'm coming from this freelance side of things, but I'm also getting more perspective from other freelancers and from some of these really tough organizational problems. It's really cool seeing how, like, how much good some people are doing at their orgs. Like, I don't know, I've heard some really cool, innovative, creative experiences, and I'm like, it's not always just churn out these courses. Like, some people are doing really, really cool things out there. So
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and just hopping back onto the moderating piece, we have some fantastic people who are moderating.
Yeah.
I must shout out John Rock, and if I start naming names, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
get in trouble. But there are so many people who are a part of this club who make it what it is and who are contributing. Whew, contribution is everything. Don't
Mhm.
let me do all the work. Let's own a little piece and let's get in there and make this community what we want it to be. And that's warm, that's inviting, that is lots of perspective, diverse,
Yep.
um and just good, feel good time, just a
Yeah.
feel good time. I think when we all get on Clubhouse and we're talking back and forth, we just feel like family, we feel connected. And it is being on Clubhouse, and I'll say this one thing and I'll shut up, I promise, Devlin. Being on Clubhouse has helped illuminate and enhance my LinkedIn connections. No longer are you just a profile
Mhm.
picture or a profile page, but you are now a human. You know what I mean? Like, it just brings that human factor and that trust factor in, and that's what I love
Yeah.
about it.
I agree completely. Yeah, there are people who I've seen on LinkedIn for years, and then when I see them on Clubhouse, I'm like, this is so cool. Like, yeah, we're like talking in real time. Like Joel Ola. Like, I know he was in a couple of rooms, I think last
What?
week. Yeah,
Like,
and he was somewhat, yeah, I when I was
he's
first getting into the
amazing.
field, I was following his like really technical tutorials, and now he's like hanging out here with us, sharing perspective from like a Amazon hiring manager perspective.
Jolt Ola.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, what?
Yeah, and
I'm
then
on stage with
yeah.
him.
Yeah, and then like Dan Kekin, like he's always really supportive, like on LinkedIn, and he's in here sharing about experiences as like an agency owner and how he makes hiring decisions and stuff. So just super valuable perspectives too. If you're like trying to like secure opportunities, it's like you get to hear from people who are the ones hiring the people, not just other instructional designers. So yeah, and it's really cool. Everyone there, they're there because they genuinely want to help. It seems like I know in some other spaces, I've heard some early criticism of Clubhouse that people are just trying to like plug their stuff. That's not the impression I get at all in the ID space. It's really
Thank
like, how can we
you.
help? Like, how can we
Yeah.
share?
I mean, and it goes on in. I mean, we have people in the community who are up at 3 and 4 in the morning, their time,
Yeah.
you know, to put in help opportunities for others. And it's like, what? In fact, I was just a part of that last night. And so shout out to Mo Ash and, all the
Oh yeah.
folks over in Africa. And I mean, they're over in Africa,
Mhm.
fully dressed at 3, 4 a.m. their time, willing to help us and all of us be greater at what we do. So if you don't have an iPhone, I will tell you this, and maybe we could talk about this later on, Devlin. We do have a LinkedIn group that maybe you could be a part of, and that is an open opportunity for anyone who wants to just get in and just glean some of these jewels and gems that are being dropped. And we're as a community, we're still formulating how we're going to like jot down notes and share knowledge with one another when the microphone is off and when the rooms are closed. But definitely don't feel left out if you have an Android phone. I mean,
Yeah, that's a great
my
idea.
husband will give you shade because he works for Apple, but I won't.
Nice. But yeah, that's a good idea. Hop in that club, and then as soon as it is released on Android, you'll already know what you're getting into. And yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's the same. A lot of the same people, like on LinkedIn and on Clubhouse. It's just like a different medium, a different format to connect, more real time, less curated and thought out. So it's kind of more raw. But yeah, if you can't get in to that side of things, hop in the LinkedIn group for sure. If that invite is open to anyone,
Yep.
good
And our
stuff.
folks in the room, I know they got it on lock. Y'all go ahead and share the URL to help folks in here get on there. So, see,
Yeah,
that's community. That's the power of community. I
yeah,
don't
no,
have to do that right now. I know my folks are in here. They're going to help you.
yeah. And I just think, again, I just think you've done such a good job of like leading this by example, like making this such like a warm, open space. So it's just cool. It's just cool, like seeing these you like power moderators like moderate, because
Mhm.
when I was starting some rooms, I'm like, I'm on a walk. Let me just start a room. Hey guys, I'm like on a walk. Like, what's up? Like, so like, I don't know. It's just cool seeing examples of really strong moderation, so that I can try to get better at it myself. Really cool.
It again, it's a muscle. I hadn't moderated anything in a long time. Believe it or not, I hadn't moderated before I really got on Clubhouse in a long time. And I was rusty, myself. And I was like, oh, girl, okay, well, we learned some things. And just the more you do it, the better you become. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yep. All right. So I see we're still on this ID Club freelancers or organizations question, and we've just been kind of bringing it from there. But let's see what other actual questions we have upvoted here. I see one. What makes Clubhouse different from other social media apps? I think we probably answered that one
Mm-hmm.
pretty well. It's audio
Audio only.
only. There's no
Mm-hmm.
texting. There's no video. It's just only voices.
Only
And you can
voices.
hang out there and listen, or you can hop up on stage and contribute, ask questions, share your perspective. So that is the unique selling point, the audio only part.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
you don't have to put on makeup. Just hop
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I know that was the highlight for you. So I was like, is
Woo.
Tameka going to do this crowdcast? Like, she was
Yes,
just talking about how she really loves the no video aspect of this.
I do. And it has been such an amazing, it's really mind-boggling to think that you could turn on your smartphone and be heard around the world.
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy to me. So yeah, it's a gem, and we don't know how long it's going to last. So we're going to let these good times roll while they do, and take
Hmm.
advantage of it as long as we can. Because it just might become, I don't know, it might become MySpace. Don't nobody Ain't nobody on MySpace anymore.
Yeah.
But it was great when it was out. So you know we're going to roll with the changes and just continue to be as best a community we could be to each other while we have the opportunity to do so.
Yep. Love it. Okay. This maybe leads us well into this next question. What is your vision for the Instructional Design Club? If you have one, yeah. I mean, I
I
think
do.
we can glean a bit of that vision, but please paint that
So
picture for us.
vision has come. This is one of the things I really absolutely love about what has been happening. Um, Vision is organically happening for this group. Once I think we started hitting some major numbers, because I really just waltzed into Clubhouse. I waltzed into club founding. I waltzed into meeting all of you. And once I started really feeling like, I don't know, it was a shift that happened maybe a few weeks ago. And it was just like, wait a minute, we got to organize. Because if we don't, this thing, it's like, it could be like any garden you are used to, weeds all over the place, right? Chaos, weeds all over the place. So I started to really take it by the helm, and I said, okay, Tamika, you got to step into leadership. I know you just waltzed into this thing, but you got to step into leadership. And leadership for anyone who's creative, like I am, it can be difficult. because we want to share everything with everyone and we just want to do our work and just, I don't want to, So I had to make a bold decision to step into leadership. And one of the things that I did was started separating and organizing. It's no different than something God would do, right? And so I started separating and organizing. And one of the first things that I did was started to have or adopt town halls. And we did one town hall maybe a few weeks ago where I really stepped forward and said, hey guys, I'm the founder. Here are the founding members. Here's what we are looking to do. We need more voices on these microphones. Because listen, Clubhouse is free. Free, 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 free. Like that commercial you see, free, 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 free. Right? We don't get paid to be on Clubhouse. It is a volunteer effort. And so, yeah, on one hand, it's great to get your voice out there, get your name rolling and meeting all these people. But at the same time, that bank account, like, So I was on a mission, like, I can't do Clubhouse 24 hours. I can't. I got a job. I got other obligations. I have a life. I need to share. We need to be in a spirit of sharing with this club. And so I started organizing. I'm the founder, got founding members. We have admins in the LinkedIn group. We need a LinkedIn space. I think you were in one of the rooms, Devlin, where it was like, we need a place. Everyone was like, we need a place to connect. We need a place. I was like, okay, LinkedIn group happened. Once that LinkedIn group happened, it was like, okay, town hall. So to speak clearly to your answer, I have a vision for, because this is a global community, I have a vision that includes everyone getting their passport. I have a vision that includes sharing space with those who weren't so familiar with the sound of their voice to come and rise to the top and be heard all around the globe. I have a vision for people not just to be moderators, but to be heard and seen and valued. Right. I have a vision for us doing some amazing, fantastic things from a global, well-rounded, diverse perspective. So get your passports ready. You heard it first right here. Get your passports ready. As soon as outside is ready for us, we're going to be traveling. We're going to be meeting each other. We're going to be doing work together. We're going to see what instructional design looks like in Africa and what it looks like in Saudi Arabia and what it looks like in Asia and what it looks like in Europe. We are going to be hopefully a global community started on Clubhouse, but moving outside of that app to really bring impact to this industry in a way that is unique to us, and in a way that is impactful to the world.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, how can we hear this and not want to dive in? Like, we're already living this vision, but it's great how you articulated it and just, oh man, I love it. I love it. And some people are taking that passport metaphor, I think, literally. They're like,
I
retreat.
mean literally.
Cruised. Yeah, people want to bring it off the app.
We're gonna be together. we're gonna travel. We're gonna meet your children. We're gonna meet your spouses, your partners. We're gonna meet. We want to, if we really want to be changed, we have to move beyond these apps and the digital world. And I know we're dealing with pandemic. We're dealing with racial injustice and racial divide. We're dealing with so many things. And I really feel like instructional designers need so much support. We need to be our best community to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we get beat up so much doing this work. We need to absolutely be family and be connected. And I know everybody won't get with each other. And I know this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but if it is cup of tea for you, grab hold to it, connect today, because I'm even scared of the vision sometimes as for what's to come. This is not some, I really feel like this is not some we just got an iPhone and got on an app, and this, this is superficial for now. I really feel like there's going to be a remnant. It might not be to everybody. There'll be a remnant of us who are really committed to being community with each other as
Mm-hmm.
professionals in this space.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it definitely, it's beyond the app. Like I love the app for what it's made possible, but Clubhouse to me, yeah, it's like this level of connection with other instructional designers. I think that's what Clubhouse has come to mean to me. And yeah, I think that's why we're hosting this session, why I have you here. I feel like you've played such an integral part in that. So I just love
Thank you.
and not just you, everyone else who is contributing, what everyone
Yes.
has created there. And we have a great community. Like it is kind of
Yeah.
clear from like people are always so willing to help in this space. So it's just so cool seeing that in this audio drop-in space where when you're doing your dishes, when you're walking your dog, when you're just like laying in bed at 2 a.m., whatever, you see an ID club group pop up and you can just hop in, hear what people are working on, throw the headphones in and hop up on stage if you have something to contribute. Really cool. Really
That's
cool.
what we want. That's what we want. We want contributors. We can't do this work alone. No one person, like John Rock always says, no one person is great. We are all great together. That's a John Rock quote. And so I'm interested to see really and truly what togetherness looks like. I'm really curious to see what community really looks like, where the gaps are closing person to person, and we were really deciding, all right, I'm gonna do life with you. I'm gonna do this with you. And I just can't wait to see what that looks like and what that becomes. So that's
Right.
the vision.
Great. Love it. Great answer. Okay. Let's see what we have next here. And this is for, I mean, naturally, a great segue as well. Samantha wants to join Clubhouse, but doesn't know how to get an invite. So I think anyone who doesn't have an invite right now is thinking, how can we get an invite? So maybe that LinkedIn group would be a really good place to help facilitate these invites. Maybe we can get like a
Yes.
thread going there if anyone needs an invite.
Start
If
the
you have
thread, good
invites,
people.
comment below because the thing is to get an invite, we need your cell phone number. So ideally, you would find somebody who has invites available, and then you would DM, direct message them your cell number so they can organize that for you.
Listen, I have had it has been so, oh my God. This entire journey so far has been so crazy because I learned from some of my Asian American friends that I learned through, that I just met in
Yeah.
between January and now. Like they would be in my LinkedIn DMs, like, Tameka, I want to get an invite me. And they were just like, your name is floating around in our like WhatsApp groups. Like I was getting, like, I was like, okay, cool. All right, bet, And so I guess I'm just full and overjoyed at what community really looks like and feels like. And so if you think this is for you, connect with us. There's folks in the chat right now willing to raise their hand, say, "Hey, I got I invite, connect with me on LinkedIn," meaning connect with them in the chat on LinkedIn. You can connect with me. I'm gonna run out. I know I only have 5 to give out. I'm gonna
Yeah.
run out. But Clubhouse will re-up them. I just don't know when that would be.
Mm-hmm.
So let's community, if you're in here, let's be a community to all those who let's actually make this happen. Like let's do it right now while we're having this conversation.
Yeah, and I think someone it's just I think we Zainab just shared this LinkedIn group invite. Let me see. This brings us there. I'm going to add this as a call to action on the right beneath the where you're seeing our faces right now. Join the LinkedIn group, and we will show that call to action. So now there's a button beneath our faces. You can just click that, and it will open the LinkedIn group. Once you're in there, we'll organize the Clubhouse invites.
Yay, that'll be great.
Cool deal.
Because I know we could probably tap into some other people's invites.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like it's because once you actually get someone in, then they have invites, so you can pretty easily set up these like invite trains. Like
Yo, that's a
we'll make
great
sure we
idea.
get you in.
That's a great idea.
Cool. Okay. So let's move on and see if we can get some more questions in here. And also I was thinking, I don't know if anyone wants to take us up on this, but maybe we can bring some of the Clubhouse spirit here onto Crowdcast and see if anyone who has a mic and a camera set up, if you want to hop up on stage and maybe add your perspectives to some of these next questions, the floor is
That'd be
open.
great.
So I think there's a raise your hand feature, or maybe just comment in the chat if you'd like to hop up here on stage with us. John just said Tameka deserves the spotlight today, and I think that's definitely true. But John, you're doing great work on Clubhouse too. I know other faces here are as well. So feel free to hop up. Let's give people a taste of that Clubhouse energy. Anyone can hop up and contribute. I'll keep an eye on the chat for anyone who wants to chime in. Ruth is down. Zainab will join. Okay. Let's see. I'll invite some people up on stage. And the question we're going to be tackling is, what are some notable conversations that you've seen on Clubhouse?
In the club or just on Clubhouse?
I'd say in the Instructional Design Club, since I think that's what most people here are most interested in.
I have personally seen all kinds of wonderful conversations led by so many great people. So I'll speak last. I want everybody else to speak first.
We have Ruth and Zainab on stage with us now. This is cool. So this is Clubhouse. This is Clubhouse, but with video now.
It is
Clubhouse, the Crowd House, right? Crowdcast.
Yeah. Cool deal. Okay.
Tameka, it's so good to see you live. Like, this is the first time I've ever actually seen any of you guys live. So it's so nice to see you and meet you.
So good to see you. Look, we putting people to work. We hadn't even seen them face to face. Zainab knows. I started the lunchroom, right, or lunchtime with instructional designers, and we were doing it East Coast, and Zainab was joining East Coast, and she was like, "We need a West Coast room." I was like, "Well, sis, asking it shall be received, but you're gonna lead it." And she was like,
"Okay." I joined, she green me, and that was it. So now we have our East Coast, West Coast Thursday lunchtime chats, which I just came to plug as well, because that'll be in a minute.
Oh yeah. We'll be hanging out there pretty soon in an hour and 15 minutes. I'll be there. I hop in the East Coast, the West Coast. I'll hop in a Central Coast lunchtime room.
Yeah. That might be coming soon, because there's been requests for that.
Rachel, who I know is in this room. I enjoyed lunchtime with instructional designers. I think that's one of my favorite rooms. I can't say I have a favorite. I can't say that I have a favorite. But what I love about the lunchtime rooms is that the conversation is not fully structured. It just floats. It just really floats. And that's how we get to really know each other.
Yeah, in the room I was just in, we were talking about like SEO, and I haven't heard that come up really on the ID Clubhouse space before, but that was fun because I'm like kind of a big SEO nerd. So I was like, okay, someone's interested in this. I'll share some perspective here. And yeah, finding other action mapping enthusiasts. I'm like, I could talk about action mapping all day. So yeah, really cool. So what we're referring to, I mean, I think you saw in the screenshots I shared, but yeah, every Thursday now there's an Eastern time lunchtime chat with instructional designers. The big question of the hour is, what are you eating? But we obviously dive into ID related topics. And like Tameka was saying, we just go where the people take us. So
we do. And we pass the mic, and it's a great room if you haven't moderated before, if you haven't been on stage before. It really helps to minimize your fear. And I've been known to mentor right on the spot new moderators, because I believe that the microphone should be shared. You know, we all have something to say, and I'm gonna help birth new voices on stage. You know, so.
And you've been doing a great job at it.
Thank you. We have freelancer conversations. We have business conversations. We have Kim Scott and Danielle Benton and some others, they've been talking about classroom to corporate. There's some series rooms, there's some regular rooms that happen, there are some one-off rooms that happen. You just gotta, it's just amazing. I can't even.
To the question about topics and conversations that come up, while we have curated conversations like Freelance Fridays and different topics like Tameka's mentioning, the lunchtime rooms are so unique and special because it's literally anything that anyone wants to talk about and learning. And so, but things that have come up are imposter syndrome has literally come up every single week in my room, every single week since I started. And so it's real and we talk about it. Also, last week, there was a fascinating introduction to trauma-informed design, which I was like, what is that? I deep dive into that a little bit afterwards. And so, these are all like this touch on subjects, and then it's great ways for us to think of, okay, what else can we create rooms about? Like we'll pick one of those topics and somebody wants, it's really organic the way it's grown. It's been like, hey, I'd love a conversation about how to create a portfolio, or I'd love a conversation about classroom to corporate. And that's how our rooms, the curated conversations do.
Yeah.
So
and that's,
conversations.
Yeah. And that's the really cool part about it. It's like, I love a conversation about this, so let me create a room about this. Like schedule a room for this. I know a couple other people interested in it, so let me reach out to them. They can help me co-moderate. And that's how it happens. It's as easy as that. Anyone in the club, you can start a room. Tameka's left that open for us. So.
Oh yeah. And in fact, I've tried to sneak on really late my time, Eastern Standard, and just to see if we could snatch some more moderators, or if there's interest in other time zones, because none of us can be up 24 hours, right? I feel like we're still leaving out Australia and all kinds of places, and so I'm looking for moderators, and we'll probably start doing a moderator campaign called the Mod Squad, and just really get some moderator, and even if you're new to it, really helping you feel comfortable at the microphone, and really allowing us to have different kinds of conversations. We even have bilingual folks who are a part of the club. I want to be able to have what did I call them? Well, one idea that I had was almost like a language and culture support group that kind of helps us speak one to another, and lower the language barrier, lower the culture barrier, so that we can communicate and be a more like connected community. So that's on the horizon as well. And yeah, because there are plenty of rooms that are happening even in the Clubhouse, ID Clubhouse, where I want people to feel comfortable speaking in their native tongue, but I want to be in the room and and understand what's going on too. So all of that is a possibility, and soon to come.
Yeah, I ended up moderating like one of my first days in the room because Zainab, I'm also on the West Coast, and I had no idea. I just walked in and there weren't a lot of other people, and I'm pretty new, so I transitioned from classroom to corporate like within the last year.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I want to shout out to all of the people in the comments. There are so many people I see who are like, how do I get out of the classroom? And I didn't feel like I had that much to offer. I don't have years of experience working in corporate, but I was able, in the conversation I had with Zainab, just to talk a little bit about how I had done it and how I made connections and some of the things that helped me. And it's a super welcoming environment. So I would just like to reinforce what Tameka and Zainab are saying, that even if you feel like you don't have that much to offer, even if you don't have it's a space where you can get up there and talk, right?
Right. Yeah, everyone here has a unique perspective that will be valuable to someone, right? Like if you're just went through this transition, there are so many teachers who want to hear about exactly how you did it, right? It's like even more valuable if it's coming from you. You just went through it than someone who's been in the field for 20 years.
Yeah.
So
And I want to just give a brief shout out. Like Zainab and I have been talking about this. So there are a lot of folks who come out of K-12. I was a community college English as a second language teacher. That was my experience, and that's a whole separate thing. People who are English as a second language teacher, people who is English as a foreign language teacher, people who are teaching overseas, whatever your original language was, like whatever your original background was. And I know Moena, who's in the audience right now, I hope I pronounced her name correctly. She and myself and a couple of other folks are trying to put together for next week a room that's specifically about how people from ESL and from that background and from community college can transition into ID, because I think it's a little bit different of a scenario than people who are coming out of K-12. So my LinkedIn is in the chat, and if there's anyone in here who's community college or who is ESL, connect with me, because I'd love to have a bigger group on deck.
love it. Thanks,
Jonathan. Moena.
All right. I noticed John left a comment here in the chat. I just wanted to point that out. John commented on a room he really liked that Tameka did, like, let's work on our projects together. And I think I was in that room and it was super like informal. It was like, yeah, we're just working. If you have something to say, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, I was terribly chill that day. I remember.
I liked it.
And I was just like, I didn't have anything to do. Let me just turn on my phone and it's crazy because my husband will say, "You on Clubhouse again? You on Clubhouse again?"
I feel like the same thing with my wife. Yeah, she's like, "Are you on Clubhouse?" Because I was on my AirPods, and I'm like, "Yep."
Like, don't judge me. Yes, I am on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And so it can be, again, the tone of any room can be whatever you want it to be. I try to kind of stretch to see what other things we can do, because I see so many other ideas on Clubhouse. There's a Figma and chill room that happens. It's out. They're outside of the ID Clubhouse space, but they actually work on a project together. They're on audio, but they use another, like, they're all on their computers, and then they use Miro or something like that or Figma to work on a project together. Like the ideas are, we could do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to plug the LinkedIn group as sort of a really great add-on to the Clubhouse app, because it's the way that you can, because we don't have the ability to share screens or documents or anything or messages. The LinkedIn group is where you can find resources that we've talked about in rooms. So I highly recommend joining both and sort of using that space to connect deeper.
Yeah, because the reality is we don't know how long Clubhouse, the app, is going to be here as a functional part of what we do. And so to walk away from it with at least a functional LinkedIn group space, I think is smart, is sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
It's also where we can share other things like jobs and things like that, where we can dive a little deeper into our.
Yeah, and I feel like I've seen that happen too, where people are like, "Oh yeah, you have this skill set. Oh, we're looking for an intern," or "Oh, we're looking for a voice actor," or whatever it is. Like, let's connect on LinkedIn. So there are connections happening in like every room, I feel like, when it comes to the opportunities, both paid opportunities and just to connect with people deeper to get what they need to move through any roadblocks. And I see Rachel Anderson. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Devin.
I just wanted to say, I see Rachel Anderson is here in the chat. I've mentioned her a couple of times, but not by name. But yeah, I mean, action mapping, like, super fan, like, so cool talking about that with Rachel, and just hearing about the really cool stuff that she does at her company. Like I mentioned that earlier. It's so refreshing to see like corporate ID kind of done right.
Yes.
I see Alex hangs out in Clubhouse a lot. Alexandra Drobick. And I put her on the spot once for like a mock interview session where it's like, try answering this question from Karen North. Let's see how you do. And it's just cool seeing a lot of familiar faces here in the chat.
And Karen North has a fabulous room today. I learned she's
yeah,
co-moderating that with John Rock.
Yeah.
Who is a rock, by the way? In a weary land, a shelter in a time of storm. John Rock, you the way he moderates, people connect with him because he moderates in such a chill, refreshing way. It is really great to see him moderate. Karen North has a room. Christina Chapper has a room. All of that. Well, we can share all that information certainly with you all. That none of it is exclusive to just Clubhouse. We want to try to share as much as we can. Although these rooms are one-time room onlys, we're not able to record. I think that's a good point, Devlin, is that we're not able to record any of these rooms. There is a way, but I don't want to violate how Clubhouse works in the sense of,
I love that fact. Like, I feel more open. I feel I share things I wouldn't normally share on Crowdcast. Exactly.
And I think that it is a more intimate, come into my living room and let's chat a while type space. You know what I mean? And I see how other people are using, not in the ID space, but other people outside of our group oftentimes do record conversations and stuff like that. I don't feel like it's for that. So these are one-time only moments, one-time only gems and jewels that get dropped. And I think that is a draw, because how many of us, we're in lockdown right now. It's like, I literally feel like I'm going to an event that I know will never happen again, So I love that aspect of it.
Can I just piggyback off of what you just said?
Sure.
So one thing that really strikes me about Clubhouse, I think Jonathan in the comments said it's interesting that in a time when we all feel like we have Zoom fatigue, that audio feels like something fresh. And I think part of that for me, and when I was first transitioning last March and I was really trying to build my brand on LinkedIn, is that a lot of the stuff that's image and text based can feel very performative. In the same way, if you know anyone who's like a hairstylist or a graphic designer who their LinkedIn feed is their curated space where it's this filtered version of who they are, it can kind of sometimes feel with LinkedIn postings and stuff like that, or with Twitter, like you're presenting just this little slice of who you are that's very, very posed, right? And I think that, and I thought of that because of what you said about recording versus not recording conversations, right? That sometimes if it's a recorded conversation that is going to be like posted on LinkedIn afterwards, there's this pressure to perform in a certain way and to not be vulnerable. And I think that what Devlin was saying about being more vulnerable in the Clubhouse space, that's kind of the power of it. But so I haven't really interacted with Clubhouse spaces outside of the ID Club. But I know that there are spaces that are a bit more toxic. And I really feel like ID Clubhouse has that secret sauce that makes it more kind of like inviting and welcoming. So I wonder I think, Tameka, you've talked a little bit about that, but I'd love to hear from you. What do you think it is? What's in that secret sauce that's made Clubhouse a space that's really like positive and diverse and like respectful of everyone,
The ID Clubhouse space on Clubhouse?
Yeah, like how did you, it's like, if you know the term a walled garden, it's kind of like this walled garden that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, I do want to say it is 2:00. I see Zainab had to step out, and I know many other people may have to leave now. So if you do have to step out, feel free to do so. I think we'll take this last answer from Tameka. If Tameka, you want to add anything to that? Let's also get some applause emojis in the chat for Tameka, Ruth, and Zainab. I think this was a great session. Hopefully we'll see some new faces on Clubhouse. Just hop in that LinkedIn group, connect with Tameka on LinkedIn. She's very active there. And once you're in that LinkedIn group, we'll get you into the Clubhouse space.
Absolutely. Thank you all for being here. I will say this, our secret sauce in the Instructional Design Clubhouse space has been authenticity. It has just been straight up truth, authenticity, no, candidness. It has been, safety, trust. And those are a lot of my personal values that I am happy to see that others have as well, in a time and space of which we live in, that everyone wants to be the expert and and that's great. That has its place. I'm not here to bash the experts, right? But let's just be real.
Yes.
Let's listen. Our ID Clubhouse is owned by all of us. We share. I think that's a part of our secret sauce. We share. It is not because I founded this, it's my show, or not at all. Like, we know our boundaries. We know what sounds right. We know what it should be. We know what we want it to be. And so everyone is invested in protecting that. Everyone is invested in sharing that and making sure that if I see a bad apple, let me help you out real quick. Let me help you out real quick. Let me get you together. And so truth, authenticity, trust, candidness. What else? I said something else up. You heard it. I don't have to repeat it. These are the things that were in. Yeah, these are the things that sharing that was important. Because my experience is my experience, and I should share that. But I'm also very interested to hear your experience, because there is something 10 times out of 9 at the end of the day that I can learn and glean from that and become a better person overall.
Yes, I completely agree. Those values are immediately evident from like the first room you sit in this club. So I love it.
And I hope that's if the teens, right, like if the 2010 to 2020 period was this very like social media 2.0, everyone's an Instagram influencer, everyone's like, my real like hope and dream for what the 2020 bring is that this kind of like small, authentic, kind of like emergent strategy style community spaces, and like everyone in their mom jeans with their hair down is what comes to it,
mom jeans. Like, I love it.
Yes, comfy pants.
I think you're absolutely right. I think what we're doing, what we are looking at is we're tapping into social media 2.0. I think we're done with the days of the perfectly visualed person and we want real life, down to earth, folks that we can relate to. And in that relating, I now then know that if I'm on the ground floor, there is a up for me. There is more for me. There's just more. If I can relate to somebody who's just got their feet on the ground and can tell me how it is, and so and I think the pandemic had a lot to do with that, because the crumbling of all of our 2020 plans and who we thought we were going to be, this 2020 version of who we were going to become, honey, that's on the ground, that's on the floor. It's done. Right. And so the pandemic has demanded each and every one of us to really pull off. Case in point, during the pandemic, because we're still in it, I went into my closet and I kid you not, I started pulling things out. And when I started pulling things out and looking at, because I was trying to declutter, when I started looking at everything that was around me, I was like, I didn't buy this stuff for me. I bought it with my money. I didn't buy it for me. I bought it for everyone else because I wanted to be this whatever everyone else had or whatever they wanted me to be. And so a lot of ways the pandemic has crushed that and has allowed us to become who we really were from the very beginning. And that's just truth, authentic, organic us. We are good just how we are. No additives, no preservatives, just who we are.
Love it, Tameka.
And all we have to do is add water.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. I mean, everyone, if you want to see more of this, it's happening every day on Clubhouse. So, and if you all like this format of bringing other people up here, I mean, we can try to bring that into some more of these crowdcasts. I'd love to bring that Clubhouse energy here for people who maybe can't get on there yet. So,
yeah, Devlin,
thank you so much
for this
Thank
opportunity
you.
because literally.
Yes.
To be on anything Devlin Peck, right? To be on anything Devlin Peck is a true honor in and of itself. You take great pride just from the look of what I see you do. You take great pride in how you shape things and create things. And so I know that this was a well thought out invitation, and I'm honored to represent the entire Instructional Design Club members all over the globe. And I'm just totally excited for what's next for even you. So thank you so very much for having us all, the Instructional Design Club, on your stage. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Tameka. Yeah, I don't know how to respond to that, but I mean, it wasn't a very hard thing to think about. I had no doubt in my mind that you would represent the Clubhouse very, very well. Because I see you doing it every single day, every single room I'm in. Like I said, you're a big inspiration on the community building side of things. So
thank you, and thank you, Ruth, for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you for having me share the space with you. I appreciate. I love seeing you on Clubhouse too. I'm gonna sign off, but yeah, it was really great seeing you, and I will see you in the chat.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thanks everyone. Cool. Bye everybody. Thanks again, Tameka.